Talking of Anthony Mundine, you have a bit of news about his next fight. That's against John Wayne Parr. For many casual observers, wouldn't be aware of his background. Very much made his name in kickboxing, certainly. But what's the issue in the lead up to this one?
Well, Anthony Mundine's got a new trainer. He's been trained throughout his career for his father, Tony Mundine, who's done a fantastic job. You know, took him to world title wins and some of the biggest fights in Australian history. But Tony's decided he doesn't want to train Anthony anymore, so he's now hired Billy Hussein, the very credible trainer of world champions out of Sydney. And look, Billy's known Anthony for a long time. He's trained against him. He knows his flaws. He knows his positives. So I think this could be an actual enhancement for Anthony Mundine at this stage of his career, to have a new voice in the corner, have a new person in the training gym, to get him to work on some different things, freshen it all up a bit. And Billy is saying he's one of the best trainers in Australian boxing history. I think he'll look after Anthony Mundine, but he'll get him prepared. So I think this is a good thing. At this stage, the target date's November 29 for John Wayne Parr, who's had he's had some boxing wins, 10 boxing wins. So I don't think this is an easy fight for Anthony Mundine. It's a good fight at this stage of his career. They're both in their 40s, so let's see what happens.
Is the change in trainer, though, Paul, perhaps maybe a nod to those close to Anthony that perhaps they preferred him not to take this fight, given his age and record and even the health? We know he's had some pretty serious eye issues, of course, in the past. There's some that would suggest that that's the real reason, and perhaps that this fight shouldn't even take place.
I think you're spot on there, Jim. For Tony not to want to train Anthony, I think that's an indicator that he doesn't want him to fight anymore. There's some other people in his camp that have been around for a long time, don't want him to fight. But as we know, Anthony retired, then he was going to come back, then he retired, and now he's definitely coming back again after that loss to Horn. Look, I don't think he wanted to go out like that in 90 seconds, but in boxing, you don't always get fairy tale endings. It's a tough sport. I think he's well matched against Parr, who hasn't boxed, even though he's been a Muay Thai fighter and, as you said, a kickboxing fighter for many, many years. I think it's a credible matchup. It's going to be most likely on the Gold Coast, but I think there's question marks of whether Anthony at 44 should be fighting. And look, the Commission's going to have to approve him to fight. And look, if they're going to approve him, well, let's see what happens. But certainly there's some people out there who don't want Anthony Mundine to box again.
Do you think there's any chance the Commission could actually say, no, Anthony, we're not going to sanction it?
They have their normal protocols. He'll be assessed by the doctor. Look, I would be questioning at the age of 44. I've said on Fox Sports News before that I don't think Anthony Mundine should be fight again. He's got nothing left to prove. One of the all-time great Australian boxing careers. Was never the best boxer, but certainly one of the biggest stars in Australian boxing in our history. And he's done so much for the sport itself and cast a light on so many other people. Those great matchups with Danny Green. Look, there's no reason for him to fight again. He wants to go out on a positive, and look, if he wants to and the Commission approves it, well, then fair enough. But fingers crossed, he can walk out of the ring that night after the fight against John Wayne Parr.